So now you say, how did Black educators during this period of time, from the early 1900s through the Brown era, how did they become more credentialed than their white peers in this era of extreme racial constriction of opportunity and movement? Well, this is how they became more credentialed. The states have on their law books, in their statutes, in their laws, as I said earlier, that Blacks cannot attend, integrated institutions. They have their own, Black elementary and secondary schools, and Black colleges emerge out of this milieu in the 17 dual system states. The 17 dual system states from Delaware all the way down the east coast of Florida and as far west as Texas and the southwestern states are operating racially segregated schools by state law. This is not just, individual districts' decisions. This is state law. So what do Black citizens of these 17 dual system states do? The white public colleges, which are supported by Black tax dollars in addition to white citizens' tax dollars, are white reserved. So they create, Blacks with progressive white partners create HBCUs, and Blacks attend those HBCUs and earn college degrees. If you were a citizen in a state where the HBCU did not offer graduate or professional training in your field of interest, you would have to leave that state because you're not permitted to attend the state or private institution, which is white reserved. And so what did states, states start coming under some legal pressure to end this practice of racial segregation in colleges and universities and graduate and professional schools. Well, what do? They create a new segregationist tool, which I talk about in chapter 2 of my book, Jim Crow's Pink Slip. And that segregationist tool is the Negro Tuition Scholarship. And it's recorded in state statutes. And so in my book, I cite Maryland and Texas as among the 17 states. And what is the language of the Negro Tuition Scholarship? It's not a scholarship as you and I would think about a scholarship in terms of academic merit or financial need. It's a segregationist tool. And here's the language. The Negro Tuition Scholarships, Negro with a small n, are designed and designated for Negroes otherwise qualified to attend the University of Maryland or the University of Texas. And states borrow language from one another. So this is not unique to Maryland. It's not unique to Texas, North Carolina, Virginia. All the states are doing this. And so the state sets aside in its budget a small amount of money to match this segregationist legislation. And Black educators in particular, Black teachers and principals, use these Negro tuition scholarships, as paltry as they might be, and as insulting as they are to their status as an American citizen, to pursue their graduate work outside of their state. Essentially, the state is saying, we will continue to violate the 14th Amendment rights of Black citizens. You cannot get your graduate or professional education here, but you can take this Negro tuition scholarship and go where you may go. And where do Black principals and teachers go? They go to these institutions en masse in this order of frequency: New York University, Columbia University, Harvard University, the University of Chicago, the University of Michigan, The Ohio State, Kansas State, University of Pennsylvania. Not one or two, not an exceptionalized few, but en masse, these generations, I would say it was at least two, go to those institutions and they do what I call in the book an academic migration. They go to these institutions Over a few years, they earn their graduate degrees. And as they're earning these degrees, they are returning to the South and teaching in segregated all-Black schools. And this is how kind of this, an odd joke played on Jim Crow. You kicked us out of the state. You thought we weren't going to get graduate education. And yet we did. And we remain committed to returning to our homes in the 17 dual system states and teaching in those schools. So yes, there's never been a time, as Professor Chika Akua of Clark Atlanta University says, there's never been a time in American history where we have invested in the education of Black children at rates equal, equivalent to, or on par with the education of white children. And yet, in those underfunded schools in the 17 dual system states that are segregated all-Black schools, the literal jewel in the school is the educator, is the teacher, is the principal. And because we've had this kind of segregationist shading of the history that's been told about segregated all-Black schools, we largely have not talked about this narrative of these exceptionally credentialed people.